Football is more than a game. It is legacy, dominance, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. Across the decades, certain teams have risen above the rest, not just champions, but icons of greatness. These are the stories of the greatest NFL teams of all time. The 1972 Miami Dolphins, the perfect season. In the history of professional football, perfection is a dream. But in 1972, the Miami Dolphins made it reality. Led by head coach Don Shula, the Dolphins stormed through the season with an identity built on precision and discipline. Their quarterback duo, Bob Greasy and Earl Morrall, kept the offense balanced, while the backfield of Larry Kasonka, Mercury Morris, and Jim Keek punished defenses with relentless power. On defense, the no-name defense proved that stars weren't necessary, only execution. Week after week, they suffocated opponents, holding 7 teams to 10 points or fewer. The Dolphins finished the regular season undefeated, then conquered the playoffs, and capped it with victory in Super Bowl VII. To this day, they remain the only team to ever complete a season, regular and postseason, without a single loss.
Perfect. Unmatched. Immortal.
The 1985 Chicago Bears, monsters of the Midway. If perfection is rare, dominance is unforgettable. The 1985 Chicago Bears didn't just win, they destroyed. Head coach Mike Ditka commanded with fire, while defensive coordinator Buddy Ryan unleashed chaos. The 46 defense was unlike anything the NFL had ever seen, aggressive, swarming, merciless. Quarterbacks trembled as Mike Singletary, Richard Dent, and Dan Hampton hunted them down. The Bears finished the season 15-1, with a defense that allowed only 12 points per game. In the playoffs, they were untouchable. They shut out the Giants. They shut out the Rams. And in Super Bowl XX, they crushed the New England Patriots 46-10. On offense, Walter Payton, sweetness, ran with grace and power, while Jim McMahon brought swagger at quarterback. The Bears weren't just champions. They were a cultural phenomenon. The Super Bowl shuffle proved they had style to match their substance. The 1989 San Francisco 49ers, precision and power. When you talk about elegance in football, the 1989 San Francisco 49ers stand apart. Head coach George Seifert took over from Bill Walsh, but the West Coast offense remained poetry in motion. Joe Montana, calm under pressure, delivered passes with surgical precision. Jerry Rice, the greatest receiver in NFL history, was unstoppable, his routes crisp, his speed unmatched. And alongside him, John Taylor gave defenses no escape. The 49ers finished the season 14-2, and in the playoffs, they were untouchable. They dismantled the Vikings. They crushed the Rams. And in Super Bowl XXIV, they obliterated the Denver Broncos 55-10, the largest margin of victory in Super Bowl history. This wasn't just a championship team. This was football executed at the highest possible level. The 2007 New England Patriots, the almost perfect season. Sometimes greatness isn't defined by victory, but by the pursuit of history. The 2007 New England Patriots came closer to perfection than any modern team. Led by head coach Bill Belichick and quarterback Tom Brady, the Patriots redefined offensive football. Brady threw for a then-record 50 touchdowns, 23 of them to Randy Moss, who himself set a record for touchdown receptions. Wes Welker terrorized defenses underneath, while a defense anchored by Teddy Bruschi, Mike Vrabel, and Rodney Harrison kept opponents in check. They finished the regular season 16-0, the first team to ever do so. Through the playoffs, they remained undefeated, standing one win away from immortality. But in Super Bowl XLII, the New York Giants stunned the world. A desperate Eli Manning heaved a pass. David Tyree pinned it against his helmet. A miracle that ended the dream. The Patriots fell short. But their 2007 campaign remains one of the most dominant seasons ever played. The 1991 Washington Redskins, the forgotten juggernaut. Not every dynasty gets the spotlight it deserves. The 1991 Washington Redskins may be the most overlooked great team in NFL history. Under head coach Joe Gibbs, they finished 14-2, boasting an offense that scored over 30 points in 11 games. Quarterback Mark Rypien played the best season of his career, supported by a deep receiving core of Art Monk, Gary Clark, and Ricky Sanders. Their offensive line, nicknamed the Hogs, was impenetrable, paving the way for Ernest Biner and Gerald Riggs in the run game. On defense, they ranked second in the league, smothering opponents with speed and power. In Super Bowl XXVI, they dismantled the Buffalo Bills 37-24, completing a season of total dominance. Analysts still argue, was this the most complete team ever assembled? The 1978 Pittsburgh Steelers, Steel Curtain at its peak. Dynasties are built over time, but sometimes, there is a single season that defines them. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, it was 1978. By then, Chuck Noll's dynasty was already in full force. Terry Bradshaw commanded the offense with deep strikes to Lynn Swann and John Stallworth. Franco Harris remained a force in the backfield. But it was the defense, the legendary Steel Curtain, that cemented their place in history. Mean Joe Green, Jack Lambert, Jack Ham, and Mel Blount formed a defense feared across the league. The Steelers finished 14-2, then powered through the playoffs. In Super Bowl XIII, they faced the Dallas Cowboys in what many call the greatest Super Bowl ever played. Bradshaw threw 4 touchdowns, the Steelers triumphed 35-31, and their dynasty was immortalized. The 2013 Seattle Seahawks, the Legion of Boom. Modern football has seen offensive explosions, but in 2013, the Seattle Seahawks reminded the world that defense still wins championships. Head coach Pete Carroll built a team around speed, swagger, and suffocating physicality. The Legion of Boom, Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, and Byron Maxwell, dominated the secondary. Up front, Michael Bennett and Cliff Avril punished quarterbacks. Quarterback Russell Wilson, in only his second year, played with composure beyond his age. Running back Marshawn Lynch, beast mode, ran through defenses with fury. The Seahawks finished 13-3, then stormed into Super Bowl 48 against Peyton Manning's record-breaking Broncos.
The result? Total annihilation.
Seattle crushed Denver 43-8, leaving no doubt who owned the NFL that year. The legacy of greatness. From the perfection of the 1972 Dolphins, to the ferocity of the '85 Bears, to the surgical brilliance of the 1989-49 Airs, greatness in the NFL takes many forms. Some teams conquered with defense.
Some with precision offense.
Some with balance so flawless it seemed unfair. But what unites them all is dominance. The refusal to be ordinary. The ability to rise when it mattered most. Football is ever-changing.
Rules shift. Players evolve.
But the legends of these teams endure. They are not just champions. They are standards. The measuring sticks for every generation that follows. So when we speak of the greatest teams of all time, we are not just recalling seasons. We are honoring the moments that made us believe in perfection, in dominance, in history itself. Because in the end, the greatest teams don't just win games. They define eras. And their echoes will never fade.